Hey there, folks. It's me, Chris, with the Gig Man's Life. And yes, it's a gig man's life indeed, due to some technical difficulties. Some things are just not mapped out at this time, so I'm trying to get some things done. I'm currently working on having my mobile production unit rip roaring and ready to go. And yeah, I that's just what I'm taking some time off because of a lot of the production. But there's some things that we got to talk about, especially in my opinion, about the situations with Uber
On his
and
way to create one of the best brands in the
Vegas this summer.
Uber and Amazon teaming up to go because Zoox is Amazon's property, and they're getting into the transport business because they're looking at ways to go and make other delivery bots. Because, yeah, you're going to pay X amount, and then one of these robots is going to show up and deliver your food from Whole Foods. They're gonna go and do a lot of things, and this should be a little bit scary for people because one, it should have gone through crash testing from the highways. This is why it could be getting tested in areas, but you're talking about it's bi-directional. Supposedly, it's getting a plate. It's most likely an electric vehicle, but no driver. And Amazon. This is why I have a very sneaky feeling. If you're looking at something to invest in, possibly, yes, I might. And I am not an expert. This is just my thought. Is I'd invest in Uber, and it's possibly why their stock is going up because Uber might be bought out by Amazon. The more that they're the ones that are going to provide the service and they figure it out, why would you need the platform except that you're to get the customers? And this is all my opinion, folks, because, just to go and say this, legal notice. I am not a financial advisor. I do not have an experience in it. I am just looking at the pattern. If you are going to take over something, why not partner with them? You're providing the devices to go and meet what they want, and you're going to get into the markets because you have more centers, more ability to set up these areas for these things to exist because you have the distribution network. You have the infrastructure to set up and get these things up and running. And as I said, and Rumble on my breakfast talk, little conversations about these things. Yeah, this is going to be the future of how they're going to push it faster. Um, People are going to go and take their chances. A lot of people, it's still going to be, I want a human driver. I don't want to worry that a computer can malfunction, a person can hack it. There's so many things that can go on with this. Then, the other things I was talking about was in IT. And this is the law in California that they are talking about, of all things, making age bracket client side verification of a person's age. My fears with doing something like that, having client side, is that now the tiers are one age bracket. There's 3 age brackets before you hit over 18. So that the device knows what age you're dealing with. Therefore, now what will reach those children can be progressive programming of making people, and yes, you can go into the tinfoil hat theory, but as everybody goes and points out, you should be wearing a tinfoil hat, and I'll go and fit you for one as well, because some of these things, it's just plain human logic. I am not much of a genius to go and see patterns like this. You're making 4 age brackets where you can progressively increase the programming over time. So no matter what, by the end of the programming situation, whatever you want the person to believe, it will be believed by 4 age brackets. Within at least 20 years, you will get a person to strictly believe in what you want to believe in. And we can prove this because of climate change, global warming. Because they had all these things, saying this stuff, doing this stuff, not showing the other data that, yes, this planet has gone through multiple changes over the billions of years that it has been circling the sun. And of course, there is just that one thing. We've only been here at most 200,000 years. That's not even thought when you're in the billions of years. That's like an hour of all human existence being to the planet. Maybe not even that. It could be a half hour. One of those little sitcoms, the little cartoon shows you see, Rick and Morty. Just saying, folks, that's how long human civilization has been here. And, we've seen other types of things that they've done very successfully with cartoons and everything else because, the 1980s, we can go through. Okay. My Little Pony, He-Man, Transformers, G.I. Joe. Let's see. Care Bears. And that is just going off the top of my head. Because we had many of them, like Mighty Morphin Rangers. I have a moment where it's, the adult version. Because it's the brown one. If you know me, you know where I'm going with the Mighty Morphin Rangers joke on that. because, there's always that change up, that new set of Rangers that came onto the scene because it was to go and refresh the toy marketing and how much they were marketing to kids because it was just those things. But of course, they had that now and knowing is half the battle because they had to put some learning experience in there so that they could go and say they're educational as they were trying to sell us a bunch of fucking toys. So, yes, we can go and have these moments and discussions about this educational system that they're trying to set up. And my biggest fear is that unless you're right on top of your child with them signed in, this is also to make sure that they can go and say, well, it's their property. You can't take their property away. It's specifically signed in for them. You gave it to them. No, I didn't. I won't give telecommunication devices to children. Okay? I will give it to their parents. It is their parents' property. It is their willingness to let the child on there if they think the person deserves to be on there, or that what they are seeing is appropriate for the child. So, yeah, I'm not, and of course, I just don't want to get blamed. If I give it to them, they are stupid enough to give it to their kids. It's on them of what their kids are doing and any oversight or anything that they're not going and making sure. And yes, I know we're the latchkey kids, Generation X. Yeah, then we're seeing the millennials who also, Generation X was one of these groups of people who you couldn't take phone privileges away because that would be cruel. That was the start of that shit. Where you're now going like this and saying that, telling my kid that you're not to talk to this person or this and that. That's how it is. So we can go through the rest of that about this is just also we won't know as I said, you will not know what your kid is getting advertised, what topics your children are seeing, because they'll be in an age bracket you're not in, and the computer will report that age bracket. So all of a sudden, you won't see what they're seeing, and you should be able to do this. It should be on the host responsibility that they're doing the age verification to make sure that people are seeing, appropriate, age-appropriate materials. Especially when you have people that are saying that toddlers and stuff should have, materials for adults. Or, preteens or teens having that materials. They will always find it, but now we don't have large publishers putting skin mags out every month. That's disappeared. It's all on the internet. It's all trackable. But this is still going like this and saying, well, maybe you should be more of a parent to your children than trying to be their buddy. But that's what scares me with doing that whole thing. And yes, that's going to go and affect all of us who have an Android phone or a Chromebook or anything Apple, because that California law about the age brackets being in the operating system, the minute you sign in, you have to identify yourself. That is just basically saying on top of that, that California law is automatically going to hit anything produced by Google or Apple because they operate in California. And if you think they're going to go and change anything for different states because there's no law that says, hey, we, well, you know, in our home state, we have to do this, but, you know, in your state, well, you know, unless there's a law against it, we're going to still continue with it. It's why I used to work at a place that we had to insert into every one of the packages the California warning label that this may cause cancer. You know, and I personally made a joke at that time that California should have a sign right outside. Entering California by California state law, we have to go and tell you by entering the state, this may cause cancer. And that was back all the way in 2000 that I realized that, you know, they will slap a warning on anything and everything, and most likely would be the ones that would put a warning out in space. Coming to this planet may cause cancer. But anyhow, yes, that's some of the topics I've been covering over on the Big Green about what was going on. And especially with Zoox, I really do think that this might be the end of Uber when they get established by using Uber and they collect the customer base, that suddenly Uber's going to get bought out by Amazon. Especially if Zoox is a part of Uber. Or their participation with Uber and their participation with being a part of Amazon, you know, I don't see it. I really don't. I don't see it being something that's not going to happen. But I could be wrong, folks, you know. So if you're doing any investments off of what I think, and you do make money, hey, be a buddy, be a pal, and donate. And if you just can't, just hit that subscribe button, ring the notification bell, share this video amongst you and your friends. Even if you think that this is a joke, go right ahead. You know, I can take it like a big boy. If you leave nasty comments below, maybe I'll go and actually respond to them. But anyways, I got to get on to the hustle, and I hope you have yourself a great day.